Hello, Soul Fam. Welcome back to the podcast. It's Brittany bringing you an episode this week all about something I've been struggling with lately. So, something that I've been noticing in my own personal life is that the universe keeps giving me the same lesson, what seems to be time after time. And I didn't realize it until the other day when I was reflecting on some recent situations in my life, and I was all in my ego and feeling sorry for myself, and I found myself thinking, why does this keep happening to me? And I sat with that thought for a while, and that's when I realized that the same thing keeps happening to me because I don't seem to be learning the lesson I'm meant to learn from this situation. I think we tend to get really caught up in our mistakes, and I know that I personally have a tendency to beat myself up over things, and I do carry a lot of shame and resentment towards myself about things that I've done or where I feel I've gone wrong in life. But where does that get me? If I'm just constantly feeling bad about something, or if I don't take the time to learn from my mistakes or unfavorable situations I've been in, then yeah, they are going to keep happening because the universe wants more for me than I want for myself, if that is the mindset that I have. I need to match the universe's vibration and love myself as my highest self. It's really easy to get lost in the moment and to focus on the present and even the past, and I absolutely do that. But what I'm learning is that I need to start behaving in a way that my future self is going to thank me for. We get so caught up thinking about only the here and now, and for example, some things that I'm really guilty of are not saving money because I want to buy something silly in the moment, and it's because I think that it's going to make me happy, and so I do that rather than saving that money or investing it into something that will allow me to succeed in the future. And a really good example of ways that I have learned to set myself up for success is when I was younger, I used to really struggle to wake up early in the mornings. And even now, although I really love my mornings and my morning routine is so sacred to me, it isn't always easy to get up and get going. So what I started to do was I would set my clothes out the night before. That way in the morning, it was one less thing that I needed to worry about the next day. It has made working out early in the morning so much easier because the last thing that I want to do when I'm fresh out of bed is struggle to find something to wear. So I would start picking it out the night before, knowing that future me would appreciate it. It helped set me up for success because I eliminated that struggle that I would undoubtedly face the next morning. It's the same reason why meal prepping is so helpful to a lot of people. It takes away the guesswork, and it eliminates the desire to splurge on a $20 pizza because you already have something prepared for yourself. Doing things like this is an act of self-love, not just in the current moment, but to our future selves, our higher selves. And yeah, these things are pretty easy, right? And it might not seem revolutionary to set out some leggings or to cook a big batch of rice. But what if we incorporated this mindset into other areas of our lives? I've made a lot of decisions based on what felt good in the moment, even if I knew it wasn't the right thing to do. I've been in a lot of situations that didn't quite go as planned, and yeah, we can't always predict the outcome to things. But the problem was that I never gave certain consequences a second thought. And this has really set me up for failure time and time again. I'm a pretty spontaneous person, and I really do love that about myself most of the time. But I think that part of being on this journey of self-love and this journey to my highest self is being honest with myself and holding myself accountable for things. And of course, the decision is the surface level, and there's so much more to it. And I understand that a lot of things I've done have come from a place where I was operating out of survival mode. And that's why it's so important to heal, and one way I do that is through therapy. Therapy, to me, is an act of self-love, even though it's not really the easiest. Because now that I've identified what certain driving forces are, I can't use them as a crutch anymore. Because if I'm aware of the reasons why I'm doing things, then that will help me to stop operating from that place of hurt. It's become so important to address these issues and work on changing so that this problem doesn't continue to arise over and over again in the future. It's because I love myself that I'm able to say, okay, I don't deserve to live a life where I'm constantly having to make decisions that aren't right for me because that's the only way I know how to survive. A couple of years ago, I made a decision out of pure convenience, even though I knew that decision wasn't right for me, and I knew it was going to pull me further and further away from the things that I did want in life. I made it anyways, and I can sympathize with that version of myself, and I know why she chose the things that she did. And rather than resenting her or being mad at her, I just choose to have compassion for who I was in that moment and take that as an opportunity to address the reasons why I operated from that place of hurt. I'm being honest with myself and healing those habits. And I know that because of that, I will be better prepared to make better decisions for myself in the future. Self-sabotage is so real, and I know a lot of us tend to be our own worst enemies. I definitely have been, and honestly, it hurts me to know that I used to feel that way about myself, because now I just want to be so nice to myself, and I want to show myself love and compassion, and my goal is to just continue to be my own best friend from here on out, because I deserve that from myself. We all do. A lot of times when people talk about self-love, they paint it as this picture of only pampering ourselves, but self-love actually comes in so many forms. It's the moments where we finally stand up to ourselves and call ourselves out on the toxic things we've been doing. It's treating ourselves the same way we would treat any other person we loved. We wouldn't give a girlfriend or a family member toxic advice. And if we saw someone we loved sabotaging their own life, we would hopefully have enough love for them to stand up to them and say, hey, I want better for you than this, and you're capable of being more and having more. Knock it off. So that's how we need to start talking to ourselves. And I just want it to be noted that I have a bath products business, so I'm all about pampering myself, okay? And yes, I do think that treating ourselves to nice things is important, so is relaxation, but you aren't going to buy your way out of toxic behavior. There are literally not enough bath bombs in the entire world to help heal destructive patterns, and we all owe it to ourselves to dig deep and give ourselves the tough love that we need. I think it's not exactly the bad things that keep happening to us. It's more so that we don't always set ourselves up for the most successful future that we are capable of having. And I keep trying to think of how I'll feel in the future knowing that past me took the time and care to do things that would make my future life just a little bit easier. When I want to put off recording a podcast or editing a video, I just do it anyway, and then future me is like, wow, thank you so much, past Brittany, for not leaving me with an overwhelming amount of work. Thank you for thinking of me and allowing future me to have some peace and relaxation. If we just push ourselves to be our best selves and operate as our best selves, the amount of problems and stress we feel that we have will start to dwindle down. And I think that is a huge part of manifesting, is acting like the version of ourselves that we want to be. Because if I'm sitting here putting off all of my work, well, how does that align with the person I want to become? If future me wants to be successful, then I need to be successful right now, in this moment. A lot of people get thrown off by the word manifest because they think it's some impossible magic that doesn't quite exist. But what if we started thinking of manifesting as just building habits? Rather than thinking of it as a way to conjure up some secret potion, what if we thought of it as things we can start doing in the present moment to make our dreams a reality? I think it really can be that simple. So if you struggle with the concept of manifestation, maybe try thinking of it as just the hard work and habits that you'll need to do to get yourself to where you want to be. And honestly, I bet that thinking of it that way will make a huge difference. So today, I'm calling anyone who's listening to create habits from a place of self-love for your future self. I'm going to really work on this too, and I believe it will help me with a few of the lessons I've been struggling to learn. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope that it helped you, and I hope that you feel called to love yourself better. Please subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen, and I would also love it if you would give it a rate and a review. I'll catch you next Wednesday with another episode.